the Federal Trade Commission will begin digging into the issue of loot boxes by hosting a public workshop on the subject later this year, as reported by Variety. FTC Chairman Joseph Simons detailed the plan in a letter to Senator Mehdi Hasan, who back in November 2018 called on the organization to investigate the controversial monetization technique. I think it is time for the FTC to investigate these mechanisms to ensure children are being adequately protected, and to educate parents about potential addiction or other negative impacts of these games, she commented at the time. In his response, Simons explained he shares Hasan's concerns, but could not go into specifics when discussing any non-public law enforcement efforts. That said, he was keen to talk up the potential impact the FTC's planned workshop might have. We are currently planning a public workshop on loot boxes for later this year as one non-law enforcement option. Here, the workshop could provide a forum for stakeholders representing wide-ranging perspectives, including consumer advocacy organizations, parent groups, and industry members. It also could help elicit information to guide subsequent consumer outreach, which could include a consumer alert. While the FTC is taking its first tentative steps, regulators in other countries such as Belgium, South Korea, and the Netherlands have already begun cracking down on loot boxes, and in some cases, have even banned them outright. Others, however, have defended the practice, with the SR and the SR refuting the notion that loot boxes constitute gambling largely because, in most cases, they have no real-world value and always contain some form of prize. Hasan, meanwhile, claims the FTC's workshop is a step in the right direction, but has encouraged the outfit to work towards making meaningful improvements. I appreciate the FTC's continued engagement on the issue of loot boxes, particularly in regards to the well-being of young gamers. She told Variety, a public workshop on loot boxes is a step in the right direction, and I encourage the FTC to continue working with consumer advocates, parents, gamers, and industry members to ensure that meaningful improvements are made to increase transparency and consumer protections around loot boxes. Things are starting to feel crowded as more and more companies try to pitch their Netflix for games, cloud-based streaming services. But Microsoft says the experience it's gained through its X branch gives it a potential leg up on the competition. Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella spoke to Business Insider and other publications earlier this week on the subject of the game streaming service, Project Cloud. The company announced late last year, saying that both its X dealings and its growing list of Microsoft-owned and published games play Project in a strong position. We have a structural position in that we have both a console business as well as a PC business, which happens to be bigger than the console business when it comes to gaming, he said. As mentioned by Business Insider, Nadella also called out his experience with X-Live and the company's history of synergy between its Windows and X video game branches through things like its X Play Anywhere program. We have as much a shot to build a subscription service as anybody else. Microsoft's Project Cloud games too, like many others in the cloud-based game service space, let people play video games on demand from a variety of platforms, while the actual game is being hosted on a remote machine. The goal is to launch the service with the capability to stream games on 4G networks, ideally opening PC and X1-only games up to players that primarily use mobile phones to play games. Other companies have dabbled in the same kinds of projects, with Google notably testing its Project Stream service that can stream AAA games like Assassin's Creed FTC through a Google Chrome browser window. Verizon and Amazon are also rumored to have their own game streaming services in the works, though official details on both are still scarce. Tencent has announced a handful of rules for streamers playing Tencent games, a move that aims to keep the company on the right side of Chinese regulations that recently went into effect. The list, shared by Nico partners, contains 12 prohibited behaviors ranging from violations of China's social values to distributing or promoting cheats or viruses on air. And Tencent says those that ignore the guidelines risk losing the ability to stream the company's games in the future. Those prohibited behaviors include, in a statement spotted by the Esports Observer, a Tencent representative notes that, as the behavior of streamers reflects back on the company and industry, Tencent has a responsibility to enforce certain standards and values. The company notes that it plans to strictly enforce those rules across all streaming platforms, productions, institutions, and streamers. There is a natural copyright relationship between gaming contents and live streaming platforms, reads the statement. Tencent, as a gaming streaming platform leader and game publisher, has the responsibility to promote the standardization and authorization of streaming contents in the industry. These rules come as the Chinese government continues to tighten restrictions on video games in an effort to cut down on video game addiction and overindulgence among minors. Legislation from the government has pushed companies like NetEase and Tencent into implementing playtime restrictions and curfews into their games, with Tencent going so far as to test a facial recognition tech to enforce its limits. The Gamasutra job board is the most diverse, active and established board of its kind for the video game industry. Here is just one of the many positions being advertised right now. Location: Pasadena, California. Industrial toys, creators of Midnight Star and Midnight Star, Renegade, is ramping up to start its next adventure and looking for new team members to help make it the best yet. Building on hard-won knowledge as an indie studio, we have joined forces with a to realize our vision of what it means to be mobile to the core. If you are interested in creating innovative experiences that will reach mobile players around the world, join up today. We are seeking a talented server engineer who is passionate about making great games in a fast-paced environment. You will collaborate with design and engineering peers to create new features, systems, and technology for our game. Our high-performing, dynamic team is committed to developing our game with a player-first perspective. The ideal candidate has mobile experience and a proven track record, developing scalable systems for live services. With a new, large-scale mobile game, we are pushing the boundaries on every front, so you will get a chance to learn while you contribute. Responsibilities, qualifications, interested. Apply now. Whether you are just starting out, looking for something new, or just seeing what's out there, the Gamasutra job board is the place where game developers move ahead in their careers. Gamasutra's job board is the most diverse, most active, and most established board of its kind in the video game industry, serving companies of all sizes, from indie to AAA. Looking for a new job? Get started here. Are you a recruiter looking for talent? Post jobs here. Cosmic Top Secret is an unusual game, about as close to non-fiction as video games get. Games like the Cold War board game Twilight Struggle may seek to simulate historical events. But Cosmic Top Secret, in an abstract and whimsical way, is autobiographical. Produced by Copenhagen-based film and game studio Classic Film, Cosmic Top Secret tracks the experience of game director Chai Layer, as she discovers her parents' role in the national security of her country of Denmark. Layer's background in game development goes back to the 1990s. As an animator, and established her own company, Cosmic Top Secret co-producer Those Eyes, in 1998.